Tun Dr Mahathir Mohamad says Dewan Rakyat will meet on March 2nd to elect a new Prime Minister, since no one has shown the King that he can command a clear majority. Should there be a deadlock in Parliament, then Malaysia will have to call for snap elections, an exercise that the economy can ill afford at this point in time. Earlier today, Mahathir agreed to return as chairman of Bersatu, barely a day after he said he could not accept the party he founded collaborating with UMNO. This was following the party's Supreme Council's move to unanimously reject his resignation. Meanwhile, on talk that Bersatu has put forward its president, Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, as a candidate for the PM's post, Mahathir said he did not have an issue with it, adding that Muhyiddin would be more flexible than him when it came to working with UMNO. Mahathir resigned from Bersatu's chairmanship on Monday, soon after his resignation as Prime Minister and following the party's decision to quit the PH coalition. Bersatu's exit resulted in the collapse of the federal government. Meanwhile, a new coalition called Gabungan Baharu will form a new state government in Johor after PH lost the majority there. Tun Dr Mahathir Mohamad is proposing to lower the EPF contribution rates and increase cash handouts to lift Malaysians' purchasing power and help arrest the slowdown in the economy hurt by the COVID-19 outbreak. The interim PM says EPF contributors will be allowed to reduce their minimum contribution rate from 11% to 7% from April 1st until December 31st, in a move that could spell an additional 10 billion ringgit in consumers' pockets. Meanwhile, special payments and allowances will be allocated for frontliners in the tourism and healthcare sectors, as well as recipients of the Bantuan Sara Hidup scheme. The government will also provide financing facilities for affected companies, while the Securities Commission and Bursa Malaysia will waive listing fees for the LEAP and ACE markets and for companies with market capitalisation of less than 500 million ringgit. These are among a slew of measures Mahathir proposed in a 20 billion ringgit stimulus package, which will be implemented if he finds the support to form a unity government. Mahathir believes the plan will help stimulate economic growth, which is expected to slow to between 3.2% and 4.2% this year. Meanwhile, the fiscal deficit is expected to widen to 3.4% of GDP, compared with the previous target of 3.2%. Maybank, Malaysia's largest bank by assets, reported solid fourth-quarter results, boosting its full-year earnings to a new record. Quarterly net profit rose 5.2% to 2.45 billion ringgit on the back of robust performance at its community financial services, Islamic banking and insurance and takaful segments. Revenue improved by 6.1% to 12.98 billion ringgit. Maybank proposed a final single-tier cash dividend of 39 cents per share. For the full year, its net profit grew by 1.1% to 8.19 billion ringgit. The lender's top line was up by 11.7% to 52.84 billion ringgit. Maybank Group President and CEO Dato' Abdul Farid Alias says the group will aggressively seek out selective growth opportunities while maintaining its focus on stringent risk and cost management. RHB Bank saw a 9.8% jump in fourth-quarter net profit due to higher non-fund-based income and net fund-based income, as well as lower expected credit losses. Earnings for the quarter came in at 621 million ringgit, while revenue increased by 3.3% to 3.42 billion ringgit. The lender proposed a final dividend of 18.5 cents per share. For the financial year ended December 31st, net profit rose 7.4% to 2.48 billion ringgit on the back of higher revenue of 13.53 billion ringgit. RHB Group Managing Director Datuk Khairul Saleh Ramli says this year's business outlook remains challenging, with a recent cut in the key interest rate and potentially further cuts expected to hurt net interest income. AirAsia Group fell into the red in FY19, mainly due to the absence of a 1.1 billion ringgit gain in 2018. It was also affected by the recognition of one-off costs and accounting treatment of its restructured aircraft ownership. The carrier posted a net loss of 303.72 million ringgit in FY19 compared with a net profit of 1.97 billion ringgit in the previous year. Revenue, however, was up 17% to 12.45 billion ringgit. As for its latest quarterly results, AirAsia managed to narrow its net loss to 384.48 million ringgit from 394.97 million ringgit a year ago. Meanwhile, revenue rose 19% to 3.36 billion ringgit. Going forward, AirAsia says the COVID-19 outbreak will be a challenge and says it may not achieve internal projections for the year.